Sellers are in complete control. For those of you who are thinking about making a move and possibly leaving Long Island, these are one of those numbers that you need to leverage. Hey, welcome back once again to our monthly real estate market update. I'm Dean from Dean Miller Real Estate, and we appreciate you tuning in. What I wanted to talk to you about today is the state of the real estate market as we move into November. It has been a crazy year, as we're all well aware of, and the real estate markets reflected that just as much. We had a shutdown, we had to build back up, we had frantic behavior, and then all of a sudden we had a little bit of a slowdown. So what I wanted to talk to you about this month was some of the leading indicators that show signs of where we expect the market to be going if you're thinking about making a purchase or a sale anytime in the near future. I wanted to start off with the number of sold listings that happened this month in October in Nassau County. That number is actually up to 1,400 sales. That's a 12% increase that we noticed coming from September over October of this year. Reason why we see that happen, the end of the summer, we had a big rush. There was a lot of people out looking for homes, as you heard about on the media and from us. The amount of activity when people were allowed to get back out there and start looking at homes again was frantic. It led to multiple bidding wars, prices increasing on a daily basis, asked to sold ratios, meaning homes were selling for well above asking price, bringing that asked to sold ratio close to 98–99% over some of the previous months. We're floating back down again right around 97.5% to 98%, depending on which town you're looking at, for a list price to a sold ratio. So for those of you buyers who are out there, take a look at those homes and understand, do your math before you start getting out there and throwing offers around, because you do not want to get outbid on a home multiple times, which all too many of today's prospective buyers are suffering through. Another number that we wanted to talk about was the month's supply of inventory. What that number is, it means is if every single home that's on the market today sold at the rate that homes have been selling over the past couple months, if every home sold, right now we would be sold out of inventory if nothing new hit the market in 2.6 months. So just over 10 weeks. That is drastically low, and it makes the market very clearly a seller's market. Sellers are in complete control. For those of you who are thinking about making a move and possibly leaving Long Island, these are one of those numbers that you need to leverage. Just because you put your house on the market doesn't mean you have to move today. You as the seller control that timeline, and your agent should be able to help you to negotiate the time frame that works to your advantage. Another one of the numbers I wanted to talk about, active listings. That number is decreased yet again. It's fallen under 6,000 houses right here in Nassau County. So the number of active listings is down. The number of closings went up. There's not as many new homes coming on the market, leaving that month's supply at a lower than average number, well below that 6-month standard that we talk about that differentiates a buyer's and a seller's market. So as I mentioned earlier, we did clearly see a slowdown in foot traffic and buyer inquiries over the last couple weeks. And that, again, that's one of those typical things that happens during an election year. There's a lot of uncertainty. People were focused on the election. It led to a 2, 3, maybe 3.5 week slowdown. Here we are as we come right out of Election Day with things finally starting to settle down. We're already seeing this weekend that inquiries are going back up. Online traffic is starting to increase again. So that buyer demand is still there. One of the surprising things that I've noticed, which really should not be too shocking when we look at the state of the market, a lot of people who are leaving the boroughs and coming out here to Long Island and Nassau County specifically, when we look at homes and price ranges, in most towns we look at it and say every town has 3 different price levels. You have your basic entry level, you have that trade-up home, and then in most towns you have that luxury level home. That's kind of a standard here in Nassau County. What we've noticed that's a little bit surprising is that the entry-level homes are not typically what a lot of these new first-time buyers are purchasing. Think about it. If somebody's living in New York City and in the boroughs and paying $3,000, $5,000, $7,000 a month in rent, and now they're looking to purchase, when the average first-time home is in that $350,000 to $6,000 range in most towns, these first-time, quote-unquote, first-time buyers are actually looking at homes that start at $600,000, $700,000, $800,000, and in several cases, even $1 million homes for their first actual purchase. So we're noticing a little bit of disparity. We noticed a couple months ago that the luxury market was kind of frozen and that mid-level market was starting to pick up a little bit. Now we're starting to see a little bit of a slowdown in that entry-level home, where more and more builders are now coming in, buying these homes and taking, for example, that $400,000 or $500,000 home, knocking it down and building a $900,000 to $1.5 million house, depending on the town. So if you're thinking about making a move, regardless of what type of home or what price range your home is in, put some thought into it. Understand the market. Get some hyper-local advice to your neighborhood, not even just the county, but the specific town and maybe even the section of town that you live in, to understand what market values are happening, what foot traffic is happening, what the showing rates and the increases and decreases are. That's important to know when it comes time to putting your home on the market. Pricing is the key. You want to make sure you're speaking to the part of the market that's interested in purchasing your type of home. If you're thinking about making a purchase, I repeat it every month, get your team together. Understand that that pre-approval letter that you can get from any online company or your local bank is not worth the paper it's printed on. You need to go through a solid qualifying process. You may think you know the price point that you want to purchase at, but taking into consideration today's interest rates, which are still historically low and have barely moved in the past couple weeks, leveraging those interest rates, understanding where your cap is on taxes, where your cap is on purchase. Understand that what you're buying is not necessarily the purchase price of the house, but the monthly payment that goes along with it. And for those of you who are seeing this, I greatly appreciate your attention. And understand that knowing the value of your home today and what it has been historically over the past few months and even years is just as important as understanding what your stock portfolio or your 401k is worth. Understand these numbers. Use us as a resource. That's what we're here for. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. We look forward to bringing you next month's market update. Want to be made aware of these reports the minute they come out? Click subscribe and hit that bell right now. And if you want hyper-local information about your neighborhood, go to the website listed below.